I can hear you.
All right, I hear you good. So
Great.
I think we're gonna be all right this time. I'm not really sure what happened there. Whatever. You ever heard this song, Dylan?
I have not.
This guy became a rapper, and once he got his first big paycheck from rapping, he paid off Sally Mae all the student loans. This is the song he made. Let me just make sure we're actually live right now. I don't know what happened there. Okay, we have audio coming through. All right.
What the fuck?
So I wanted to play this, Dylan, because I found this article this week that is titled When College Students Turn to Sugar Daddies for Financial Aid.
Oh boy.
And it's apparently stirring up a lot of controversy. And I'm curious because I really wanted to do this like as soon as we went on. So if anybody has any opinions here, you can call in to us right now, 706-237-8230, or you can text that number if you want to. I'm curious, would you do the sugar baby thing to pay off your student loans? I mean, as of right now, I think that we're sitting at like $1.5 trillion of student loans between people in America. Dylan, would you? I mean, now you kind of understand what a sugar baby is, right?
Yeah.
Now, this article doesn't necessarily go into some of the things that could potentially that they could potentially have to do in order to earn that money.
Ooh.
They make it sound more like it's just hang out, talk, go to dinner.
like you're just this person's friend.
Yeah, we're just friends. We're friends.
Yeah.
But you know what that leads to?
100%. I would fuck a MILF every day for the rest of my life, just because the money's just a little cherry on top.
But okay, but what if you had to fool around with a guy? Would you do it to get rid of student loans?
Oh well, wait, now we're adding. I'm gonna have to pass. I think. I think I'm gonna have to take a hard pass.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess it really comes down and depends on how much money are we talking. I mean, how much debt are we talking about? Are we talking a lawyer degree or what?
But also, what's the act though? Like, do I have to like? Because there's different degrees, like a handy manny, is a little bit different than taking one, So I don't know what the.
So what you're saying is
here.
You're okay with a handy, but
I
don't want to push it past that.
Yeah, I feel like nothing enters any part of my body. And I think I'll sell foot pics. Listen, sign me up, OnlyFans.
Some dirty underwear and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll sell them all. Nice skid marked underwear. It'll be great.
So gross. All right, look. Apparently, this is a big thing nowadays. So it's one of those interesting things to bring up. And in case we have some people joining in now, I just saw the numbers jump pretty good. When college students turn to sugar daddies for financial aid. And it's actually kind of funny. Let me see if I can switch this over and show you guys actually they put up a billboard, okay? A legit billboard. I'm going to pull this into the screen here. Let's see if we can make this where people can see it.
Nice.
Yeah, people can see that. See, need a summer job, date a sugar daddy. So you can go to arrangementfinders.com if you wish. And there you go.
This is not a sponsored video, by the way.
This is a sponsored video, though.
Oh,
you don't even have any idea. This video is sponsored by Webull, the stock trading platform right here on your mobile phone. If you want to trade stocks, right there, download Webull, use the link above, and you will get 2 free stocks with Webull valued between $14 and $1,400. Webull, the best way to trade stocks. And new to the program, we are sponsored by Fiverr. Fiverr, you'll see it in the link above or down below, depending on what platform you're watching. If you need let's say, Dylan, you need a resume because we're in a time where people need jobs. Maybe you've never needed a resume before. You can go and visit Fiverr.com and pay a professional to create that resume for you. No longer do you have to look like an idiot when you go to an interview. You can have a professionally done resume for as little as $5 right there on Fiverr.com. Use the link above, and we would love you. We only get a kickback if you use it, so there you go.
Did you set me up for that, or was that just unplanned? You know,
that was completely unplanned, but it worked out perfect.
That worked good. That was a good segue.
With all this bullshit that happened, I don't know if people caught what happened just a minute ago when we tried to go live and there was no audio. But yeah, so anyway, we are.
Back to the sugar daddy thing. I think that, like, okay, looking at it the way I look at it is you have a lot of options now. It's 2020 and you're in quarantine. Because I brought up OnlyFans kind of as a joke. Mm-hmm. I went to high school with a lady, graduated from high school with a lady who started an OnlyFans to pay for college. She paid for her college in like a couple months.
No way.
Swear to God. Now, everybody and their mother has an OnlyFans. It really is like, it's like OnlyFans is like podcast for people who just want to show their titties.
Hey, there's a lot of work that goes into that though. And
there is. And some people take it more seriously than others, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of options here in 2020 to help you pay for them college bills.
Well, we do have a call right now. Oh,
fantastic.
And they hung up. I didn't get to it quick enough.
Damn, what a shame.
See, what happens, people, if I bring you on, you'll hear the show through the phone, and then I'll get to you as soon as we get to a little stopping point. So you just have to sit there and wait. Sorry. Yeah.
It's like every other radio show. I was
trying to jump in there to get you on, but it is what it is.
It's kind of like a radio show almost. Right. You know, there's a whole system.
Right. The only thing here is we don't have somebody helping us, so I can't have somebody answer the phone and tell you to wait. You just have to understand that you got to freaking wait. So we've already missed 2 calls today.
Oh, Jesus.
But it is what it is. We did get one, it looks like, from our friend Bob Kessler. Let me see if it'll pull up. Oh, here we go. Now we're going into they called back, so I guess they heard me. Here we go. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Can you hear us?
You lost me a minute ago. I tried to get on.
Oh, hey. How are you?
I'm good.
Do you have a comment about being a sugar baby for paying off student loans?
Yeah, I think anybody that thinks they should be a sugar baby, all that college money was wasted on them because they really don't have 2 brain cells to rub together.
But what if they're paying for their college by themselves? And, you know, to me, I see this as like, that's kind of a genius move. Like, I can go out with some dirty old man to dinner, probably a fancy dinner too, and he's going to pay for it and then pay my student loans off. Look, I've been paying student loans off for friggin' like 8 years, dude. So I don't know. It's an interesting topic though.
I just could never lower myself to do that.
Yeah. Do you know what OnlyFans is?
Pardon me?
Do you know what an app called or a website called OnlyFans is?
No.
Okay, OnlyFans is this website where you can go on there and take naked pictures of yourself, and people can subscribe to you and pay you monthly for those. Do you think that's a good idea?
Oh my gosh. Well, like I said about the brain cells, no. I wouldn't do that either.
What if I told you that there's some people on there that are making millions of dollars every year doing that?
Oh, I'm sure they are.
What if these people didn't have to get naked? What if they weren't fully naked, not everything was being shown, and people are just paying to see them anyway? Is that okay?
Yeah, but now you've gone to college to get a degree to get some kind of really good job, and what's going to happen when these photos surface and your job fires you?
Yeah, well, what if you make more money doing this than you would with that regular job?
It's true, but like I said, I couldn't live with myself knowing I was lowering myself to do that.
But here's the thing also, is you have a lot of stupid people out there in the world that are going and getting really expensive degrees for German polka history of shit that doesn't even matter, and they can't get out and get a job that's
Yeah, that's
worth
true,
anything.
too. That's very true, yeah.
So when you get in that situation and then you look up and you're $100,000 in debt to student loans, who knows? I might take some booty
That's true,
pictures of
that's true.
myself.
That's true.
Hey, maybe next week we will be sponsored by OnlyFans. How about that?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Okay.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Thank you for your call. We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Look at that. We got a
See-
great call.
And see, anyone can call in. It's just that easy, and we're not even mean to you.
Holy
We're
smokes.
fantastic.
We have a woman that listens to us. I actually know
I
who that
thought the
is,
same
but-
thing when I heard this voice. I said, "Oh my god!" I thought they were all men in their mid-50s.
Actually,
bald.
Dylan, if this will interest you, I actually got a message this past week from another lady who listens to us, and my immediate response was, "Why would you listen to that shit?" And she's like, "Half the time I don't understand what you're talking about because y'all talk about wrestling and I don't know nothing there, but everything else is kind of interesting." So, hey.
Oh well,
I'll
we
take
appreciate
it.
that.
Maybe we have more women listeners than we have guy listeners.
Yeah, I don't know where we'd check the demographic. I just know all of our listeners hate me. That's all I know.
Exactly. That has definitely come through. A lot of messages. They do not like Dylan for some
Yeah,
reason.
no one likes me.
I don't know why. But hey, if you guys have an opinion, would you be a sugar baby to pay off your student loans? Call in 706-237-8230. Or if you have a better idea of how you've heard people pay off student loans, I'm interested in that. One of the things that's really, really kind of interesting too, Dylan, is that we've already used like $3 trillion in stimulus just this year.
Mm-hmm.
And to eliminate everybody in the entire country's student loans would only cost $1.2 trillion.
I think it's just more or less that they don't want to make that step, because then you get into the conversation of socialism, and that's just one of those. It's just one of those things where people don't want to have that discussion.
Yeah, but I mean, think of it.
It's like
all this money, dude. The only thing that we've really benefited from it was getting a $1,200 check, which wasn't even $1 trillion worth of money.
And there again, it's like ending world hunger, though. Also, a plausible goal. We just won't do it. We just won't do it.
It makes no sense, dude. We'd rather give all that money to big-ass corporations who just blow it and give bonuses to their CEOs. And it's so frustrating, dude, especially when a lot of people struggle every month to make those student loan payments. And they get freaking expensive. I mean, I pay like nearly $400 a month just in student loans. And it sucks. But I'm getting really close to being done. So I don't care if they pay it off or not. But
so earlier you brought up a billboard. And I have to ask you, did you see that
I was hoping you were going to go to this.
Steve-O duct taped himself to a billboard?
Yes, I did. Let me see if I could pull this up because there was a picture of it on his website. So he's doing this comedy special. Here, I found it. I'm going to put this in so everybody can see it. Oh, there's
so
my
it's called
one.
Steve-O Gnarly, and I guess it's an online comedy special, and I assume you have to go to his website and pay for something.
Right,
but
it's $9.
He legitimately duct taped himself to the construction board, I guess, and that's a picture of it before they put it up. They actually raised it on his Instagram. You can see where they have him. He's floating and he has like a rope and he's lowering things. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Landon? I'd be fucking horrified.
Oh, I was watching it on. Let me see if we can pull up his Instagram. I saw it on Facebook Live. Somebody was Facebook Live. Yeah, there's a picture right there. Look how high up he is. Yeah. But there was like a helicopter going around and videoing this, and he's way up in the air. Let me see if this will get big. There you go.
You can even scroll. I think there's another picture which is a little bit. It shows you from the ground. It's in the same thing, like how you can do the swipe. Yeah. There should be an arrow or something, maybe.
There's an arrow here, but that just goes to that next photo.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, I mean it's.
Look, Steve-O's known for stuff like this. I mean, a lot of the comments that I was watching when I was watching that live video was, "Oh, is this dude back on drugs and all quacked out again?" I mean, look at him, dude. He does not look jacked up on there at all. I mean, as far as I know, he's been clean since like what, 2008 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Very long time.
I mean, it's one of those things where like he's just one of those guys that enjoys entertaining people, and his way of entertaining people is legitimately breaking his body.
Right.
I mean, he's lit himself on fire. He's had the poo poo ride back in Jackass where they put him in a fucking porta potty and flung him up in the air. He's had it all, and he loves it. You know, he loves it.
Yeah, it's just a stunt, man. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's hurting for cash because he ain't done nothing in a long time, and you know, it's one of those things like you go on this website and you click on it, and it's $9.99, and it says you can stream the whole thing now. But I don't know what it is. Under it, there's a picture of all the Jackass guys with him. Actually, this is kind of funny. Let me show you this, Dylan. You can see that's so this. I guess they did something else similar to Jackass, probably without the name because they wanted to keep the money for themselves.
Yeah.
But who knows? You know, I might just buy it just to watch it because it looks funny. I love Steve-O.
Yes, you know, it's great. You know, there's been a lot of different things happening. I know that there was a football player for the Seattle Seahawks who lost his job. He was fired because he disguised a female as a player and snuck her into his hotel room. Did you not hear about
because they're
this?
like on quarantine or something?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear about it.
I know. I've been currently, I'm still getting messages. Barstool posted a video about it, and I just commented, hey, you know, last season we saw a dude literally hit another man in the head with a helmet. He didn't get fired. He got a slap on the wrists.
Right.
You know, if you're going to say, if your argument is, oh, well, you know, the employer has rules to follow and you can lose your job. Listen, those people are the reason why teachers who post pictures of them drinking alcohol get fired.
Right. It's Open Lines Friday. We got somebody else on the line. Go ahead with your call.
Hey, Landon and Sebastian.
Hey, Sebastian. What's going on, man?
Nothing. I just tuned into your video, and I was saying, you know, I watched the part about the fans only, and that's the part about Steve-O.
Right.
Here's the problem, I think, with everybody. I think so many people are so judgmental that if they let people live their best lives, they'll be a lot happier. Because poor man, you're right, he might be strapped for cash. He might need to make some money that way. But I look at it this way. What really got me thinking about this, I actually have some personal friends who, since this COVID stuff, they've actually started fans only page. It's a very lucrative business.
It is.
Literally, all he does is works out, but he's nude. But he works out nude, makes a killing doing it.
I'd like to see that.
If you are comfortable exploiting yourself, then why is anybody else to judge you?
Hey, look, I'm on the OnlyFans train. I'm down. I think it's genius. And, you know, honestly, I think as our generation gets a little bit older and kind of takes over this country a little bit more, these things are going to be a lot more accepted.
Socially acceptable.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's like anything. I mean, like, look at, you know, when we were younger, people trying to, you know, if you walked into Walmart or any retail store, you didn't have people with piercings or different colored hair or tattoos. Right. Now that's becoming a social norm. And, you know, a lot of this came to the fact that, I don't know if you heard about Cardi B's new video, Walk. I'm addicted in love with it. But she is getting so much backlash because it is very provocative. You know, she's a new mother. I'm like, you know, just because you make your money a certain way, that doesn't mean you teach your kids immoral things. You know, people are so quick to judge them, but yeah, the same people who are judging are buying her album or YouTubing her, you know, and that just irks me. Don't be hypocritical about it.
Not only that, but the Jenner, Kylie Jenner, who's in the music video, she's canceled now.
What?
Yeah, she got canceled.
Get canceled. She's like a billionaire.
She got canceled because she's in the video and people were saying she's a white girl. She shouldn't be in this African American video. And I'm thinking to myself, do you people think that Cardi B and Meg the Stallion didn't like ask her and like this was all like planned? Like what the fuck? Well, but I agree 100%.
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what the hell y'all talking about.
Well, the Cardi interview, she actually said the reason that Kylie done it is because Cardi and her husband, they're friends of Kylie Jenner's family. They're friends of the family, and they're like, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And it was all planned out because of that relationship they already have together.
Yeah, it's a decent song. I mean, it's definitely catchy. She's talking about swiping your nose like a credit card and macaroni in the pot. That's some wet ass pussy. And
Oh.
then the whole oh boy, and then the whole time in the background, you just have this guy singing, "There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house." It's a fantastic.
I want that. I want that guy's
fantastic
job.
song. It's great.
Hey, look.
Listen,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry. People would these days do anything for clout. And even I'm sure that everybody watching your show, or you guys included, has already watched the Tiger King. Know all about Carol Baskins and her crazy ass.
right.
So Carol Baskins actually did an interview bashing Cardi and Megan for having big cats in their video, saying they were pimping out the cats.
Right.
So what did Cardi is? She's like, "Bitch, are you goddamn crazy? You killed your husband."
Yeah, well,
So,
she's
I mean,
the only
you know-
one that can exploit tigers and stuff like that, and it
Yeah,
be
and not only
okay.
that, she herself exploits
Yeah,
tigers.
she's the only one that should be. She thinks she's the only one that should be allowed to do that. But I want to go back to what we were talking about with this thing being immoral, that they're being provocative on a video and getting canceled and all that crap. I mean, who's to say that any of that is immoral anyway? It all comes back to, and one day we're going to talk about religion. We're going to have a religion podcast just simply because so many people have brought this up, and it's such a crazy point. But honestly, that's where it all comes from. If they're
Well, it really
if
comes from
they
a social norm, you know, like I have in society, some people like me, because I'm a very open person about everything. I become so desensitized to it that I've been the first one jamming to it, not caring. But the whole thing with religion, you know, kind of like just touching up loosely, is I think what irks me with religion is, do I believe in God? I do. Do I push religion on anybody else? Absolutely not. But when people act like they're like strong-willed Christians, they only quote the parts of the Bible that benefit their argument.
right,
You know, but if you're going to be that way, you can't be hypocritical. It says, oh, homosexuality is an abomination. Yeah, so is eating pork. You get up and you eat a bacon sandwich in the morning, that's an abomination. It's unclean meat. So, you know, you can't pick and choose. If you're hardcore or you've got to be more liberal about the whole religion situation.
do you believe that it's morally right to own another human being?
I mean, in my opinion, here's the thing. I look at owning anybody of consensual age, whether it's race, whether they're for slave labor or whatever, I look at that as a business transaction.
All right, I'm sorry, I had to dump him. I can't listen to somebody who's going to sit there and say that it's okay to own another human being, which is something that the Bible promotes itself in Exodus 21 and a few other places. So, look, owning a human being is not right. It's never going to be morally right. And
I was wondering where you were going with that, by the way.
well,
I was really concerned for a second.
Well, he brought up the fact that people want to pick and choose, you know, things out of the Bible, but then he goes to say, well, I believe in God and all this type of stuff. Well, if he's trying to justify there that he believes he's not picking and choosing, and it was trying to justify owning another human being, which is.
Do
it's
you
just simply
think, though,
not right,
Landon,
man.
and I'm sorry if this is getting heavy for everyone, do you think, though, that we don't all just pick and choose, though? Like, you and I, who are people who
I choose
don't
not to believe because there's no reason to believe.
And I agree with that
Somebody bring me a
100%.
good reason why to believe in anything that the Bible has to say.
No,
and I'll
I'm
do
not
it.
telling you to believe. Please don't think I'm saying that. But what I'm saying is don't you think that even like you and I, who are more of that atheist type mindset, we're choosing not to believe? I think there's all of these different things. No matter what you believe in, you still have the choice morally to what you choose. You see what I'm trying to say?
I don't. No.
I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't know if it's a religious thing or if it's just a moral thing. Like him saying that he thinks it's okay to own people might not be a religious thing. That might just be that to him, fuck it.
Yeah, maybe I dumped him too soon because we could have got deeper. I'm curious if he would be willing to be a slave under the rules of Exodus 21, where it says that you can beat a person within or you can beat a person as long as they don't die within a couple of days, because that's one of the rules of owning somebody. It's okay. And there's different rules for different types of people in there depending on where you're from and whatnot. Oh, and also if you do get a slave and then you present him with a wife and or kids, then you own them forever. So it's all jacked up, and people say, oh, well, that's Old Testament, we're not supposed to believe that. But then you immediately go back and you ask them, well, do you believe in the 10 Commandments? And they'll say, oh, of course. Well, do you know the 10 Commandments are in the Old Testament? So should we throw those out too? I mean, it's complete asinine bullshit. And the first time that somebody brings me some reason to actually believe that any of that is real, then we can have a good conversation. But if you're going to call up here and you're going to say that you think it's morally okay to own people as property, you're fucked up in the head, and that's wrong in any case. And
you're really heated,
dude. You don't understand how many times I get into conversations about this, and this is one of the reasons that I ended up having to quit going to a religious school that I went to understand some of these things. It's so frustrating to hear people try to justify the Bible when there's absolutely no reason to believe it, and then on top of it. Look, I don't even want to. We're gonna have a whole conversation on that.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a show some other time on the religious side. Everybody, we thank you.
Thanks for your call. Try
here's
again next
something
time. Think about owning people, and then maybe you can call back. I'm not gonna block you, but think about your answer before you come on here with that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, you come on here telling me you want to own people and you're okay with it, and that the Bible is somehow is the moral mindset that you should use moving forward with your life. You're full of shit, and I'm gonna dump you. Go ahead, Dylan. Sorry.
It's okay. So porn actress Kendra Sunderland is at war with Instagram right now because they keep taking down pictures and videos of her with her titties out.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't understand why, as a man and men, we are allowed to show our nip, free the nip, if you will, but women aren't. Do you believe that women nip should be allowed on social media platforms?
Absolutely. 100%.
Call in. Landon, what's the number?
706-237-8230. Why not, dude? What's so wrong with it? I mean, in some countries, in some areas, it's just normal.
Yeah, you're walking around, yeah.
It comes back to religion. Religion is the reason
Jesus Christ.
that I'm telling you, dude.
I never, everyone, I'm so sorry. I never would have brought it up.
There's
Listen,
there's so much religious dogma and bullshit that is transferred over into our society, and they create all these laws. This is my thing. If you want to believe that crap, go for it.
Yeah,
but do not try. But the problem is that it influences people and how they vote and how they make laws in this country. And it's really fucked up, some of the things that they do. My problem is, Dylan, I've heard this before. I went to a religious college and whatnot, and there was this one person that I met there, and they realized that I wasn't necessarily believing all this bullshit because of the questions I was asking. And they said, you know what? I feel the exact same way. I don't believe any of this. But if I come out and I say any of it, my parents are going to kick me out of my house. I'm going to be on my own. I'm not going to be able to get a degree and go to college and all this stuff. So, there's so many stories of people coming out and saying, I don't believe this, to their families. And that night they're thrown on the streets. And it's so fucked up because, people want to think that religion only does these good things, and it doesn't. It does terrible things to people. It does do some good things. They have to cover up some of the bad things. But you can do those good things without believing in that bullshit. Now I'm pissed.
So, freeing the tit, okay.
Yeah,
religion
bring the
bad.
tits out. I'm okay with the tits.
I think that what this is, I think it's a censoring issue. I think that it's those groups who are afraid, well, what about the children? What if first off, why would your child be following a porn star on social media? That's the first red flag to me. Let's not blame the porn star, let's blame the child. All right. That's my thing. The other thing is I'll agree with her 100%. Now she said that it's sexist. I don't know if it's sexist. I will say I don't think that one's better than the other. I mean, Landon, when you see pictures of dudes that are topless, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, "Wow, that dude's topless," or are you just thinking, "Oh, okay"?
No, I think, damn, I wish I looked like
but
that.
that's what I'm saying. I really think like if women were just showing titties, it would be normalized and no one would really care.
Just like if you go out to Colorado right now and people are smoking weed, you know, it's just normal. There's no big deal. It's not a thing. You know, Sebastian's in the chat here, and he's going on about some things that I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. Something about sexual relationships and slaves. Sebastian, if you want to call back in, you're welcome to do that, and give that reasoning. That's fine. Maybe I'm just a little heated on that subject, and you know,
I'll have Landon keep his cool. Don't worry.
I won't hang up on you. I'll let you explain that point if you want to. But yeah, we'll go from there. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you know, it's one of those things where the two of us very, very rarely get heated on subjects, and we both have there's a subject for both of us that is our trigger, and yours is religion.
Yeah.
And where I like you know, I'm not a believer. We've had these discussions several times. We've had these discussions on the shows before, and we'll have these discussions on shows in the future also. I guess I'm more accepting of people who do believe, as long as you're not an asshole. Like, as long as you're not trying to push that on me and saying that I'm going to hell and that I'm terrible and I'm fine with you, and I'm fine with hearing your opinion, because maybe we can all learn something. That's why whereas you got super upset there with Mr. Sebastian, I kind of just sat back, because I think all of these experiences are teachable ones or learnable experiences. But when we get into politics at some point, that'll be when you guys get to see me pissed off.
Yeah, you know, there's not many things that push me to that point where I don't even want to have a conversation about it anymore. But telling me that you think it's okay to own somebody as a slave, especially under the rules written in Exodus 21, that's when I'm done. I'm fucking done at that point.
And like I said, maybe he wasn't meaning in a biblical way. Maybe he was just meaning in a moral way.
Well, it seems like what he's saying in the chat, that it's like some sexual, you know, an agreement between two parties.
He made it sound like
not
to be
the
fair,
slavery that we're talking about.
Well, you're right. He made it sound like a transaction. He made it sound like, I'm going to pay you to be my sex slave. That's what he made it sound.
I'm okay with that. Do that. That's fine.
Okay,
but this is not an agreement between two parties.
Yeah,
you're getting sold on a freaking market to somebody you don't know.
I think that's the misunderstanding that we're having here.
Yeah.
I think that's the misunderstanding, because I think that he brought up something and you kind of jumped the gun and misrepresented what he was trying to say. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because definitely owning people, not good. All right. No good comes from that. Right. But I think that, you know, if he wants to call back, we'll at least hear him out, hopefully. If he doesn't say anything too fucking out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's I don't have many lines, but that's one of my lines, so whatever. Anyway, we will actually plan out, and who knows, it'll probably end up having to be a series just talking religion, because there's no way that we're going to get it in one episode. I mean, we're going to have to go, you know, topic by topic with it, because it's too widespread, man, and there's too many religions. It's one of those things, like, you want me to believe in a religion, you know, there's like 1,000 different sects of Christianity alone. Maybe if you guys would just come together and come to some sort of agreement, and then present that to me, then we can discuss whether that's legit or not. But every reason that I've heard for why you believe in a religion is just bullshit, and it all comes down to faith every time. And you know you can use faith to come to a true conclusion and a false conclusion, so it's all bullshit. Go ahead.
You mean that I'm going to be able to talk about the $100 that I'm owed?
You're owed $100?
We've had, yeah, I told you about that when I was told to find a inconsistency in the Bible, and I found one, but the person didn't agree with it. So
yeah.
Yeah, you know. Well, I'll get into it. Yeah, I'll get into it on that.
Well, that's the thing. They just come. They try to find a loophole.
There's rules. Yeah. So I'll get into that real quick. So the rules that I was given, I won't go into the whole story, but the rules that I were given, it couldn't come from the Old Testament. It had to be the King James version of the Bible, and it couldn't be mathematical or numeric. Those were the rules I was given.
Yeah, and that's fair with the mathematical thing because over time.
Well, I'm not good at math anyway. Fuck it. I'm not gonna out math somebody.
Jerry, if you want to come on, you're welcome. The lines are open for anybody that want. There's people in the chat and people texting me.
Are people pissed? What's happening?
Well, people are. I'm getting my phone's blowing up. This is blowing up. People are wanting to come on and talk. Look, the
Please,
lines are freaking open. Call in.
Repeat the number. Repeat the number.
The number is right there on the screen. 706-237-8230. You have an opinion, especially if you're a religious caller and you don't agree with my slavery thing, then you can come on and try to justify slavery, and I'll make you look like a fucking
and we
ass
won't jump the gun on you. We won't jump the gun on you. And I hope that if one thing comes out of this show, people like me a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe they'll start hating me. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll trade.
So anyway, open line 706-237-8230. We do well. Actually, I still got at least another hour I can go here.
Yeah,
so
I'm good.
We're good. I got to work tonight, but yeah, I'm good for at least another hour.
I mean, do you want to get into another topic, or do we want to wait for a call? What's the?
Well, let's give it like a couple minutes and just see, because there is a lag between when we talk and whatnot. My buddy Lee from high school actually sent me. Oh, he says he's working, but he sent me a huge long freaking text message, and I'm just gonna be honest, Lee, I'm gonna have to digest that because it's just so long, and I can't do that while I'm on the air. He said I tried to tell him to call in, but he's working, so he can't call in.
I like I said, we will happily take anyone's call. We will happily speak with you and not jump the gun. And we appreciate everybody's call.
Hey, you know what happened yesterday?
What
Speaking
happened?
of it, the Taco Bell menu changed officially. I think it was yesterday. It was happening.
It yesterday?
Yeah.
Do we have an update on Marty Jannetty? Do we know whatever happened to Marty Jannetty?
I have not looked into it. I do have a call here from Bob Kessler. It looks.
Please, by all means.
Let me see if it'll play, because sometimes it takes a minute to load. But let's see. Hopefully, it's going to go straight through.
Yes, this is Bob Kessler, and I just want to say thank you, guys. I met up with Candy again because of my Patreon account, and I just want to say you guys are really good flipping the bill. She did us and about $500 per hour. We're in the club right now. We partying, we having a good time. We just saying, hell, she was no to all that stress and saying hell to the yeah, to all that lesson. We partying, and I'm getting that candy cane whenever I want it. So appreciate you guys. Please.
I think old Bob Kessler is taking up drinking or something.
We need subtitles for Bob Kessler. That's what we need.
All right, I'm gonna have to transcribe those before we ever play it on the air again.
As always, we thank Mr. Bob Kessler so much for his call, and we love his journey for the candy cane.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Bob has joined us on every single episode. Yeah. Can you believe
he
that?
He has since day one.
Since day one. And we've gotten updates about him screwing this transgender woman.
It's gonna be the Bob, Landon, and Dillan show here pretty quick.
Look, Bob, I'm impressed, man. I don't know how you found us or why you would listen to trash like this ever, but hey, thanks for your call, man.
It's obvious he's fucked up in the head.
Yeah, I don't know what he was saying there. I think that he said that he got with Candy Cane again, which seems to be like a weekly occurrence at this point. So I don't know. No, actually, what was it? The first 2 episodes, he was trying to find her again.
Yeah,
right?
He had found her originally.
Right.
And he wanted to use our show to find her again. So we gave him some advice, and he was able to find her. He was able to find her. He found her. He paid her overpriced, by the way. And then now there's a whole Patreon, and he can have that candy cane whenever he wants.
Right.
Good shit.
Wow,
no calls? No callers?
No calls. No calls.
Really? Everybody's blowing up Landon's phone saying they want to come on, and no one's coming on. Wow.
Well, I got people, text me. I'm at work. I can't make a phone call. I'm this and that. I can't do
You know
that.
what this is? This is the wrestling promos all over again. You ask them to do something.
Yeah,
and
it goes down. I mean, we're talking about a topic there that nobody can justify and nobody can give a good reason for. Yeah. And so that's the reason they don't want to come on here and get embarrassed. It's okay. I understand your religion makes no fucking sense, and you can't even justify it in your mind, but you just believe it because everybody else around you believes it.
Do you think that people would be calling in and trying to justify why slavery is okay?
We already had one.
Well, I don't know, but like I said, I think that was a misunderstanding.
Look, we just talked about it with something with you trying to find a contradiction. People will figure out a back-ass way to justify anything that the Bible says.
That's true. I'll give that to you. You know what isn't false. You know what isn't lies. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is being rebooted.
No,
but now wait, as a drama.
Who's in it?
That smile just left his face. I guess the original cast in 2019, super fan Morgan Cooper created a trailer for the Bel-Air, a dramatic reimagining of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air story. Will Smith loved the idea so much. 1 year later, in 2020, they're teaming up to produce the concept as a drama series. So this super fan is probably now loaded. And Will Smith is going to do this drama with this person. I don't know, man. The idea of a drama, I don't know. Because here's the thing that was great about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I don't know how many of you were familiar with it. It had dramatic moments. It had funny moments.
Yeah, well, when you said drama, that's kind of what I was just sitting there thinking was like, a part of it was a drama already. But so, I mean, are they planning on just taking out all of the comedic value out of it?
I wouldn't assume so, because Will Smith's a funny guy, and so was the guy who played Carlton. They're funny guys, so I would assume that they're going to kind of have that same ideal as before, but they're going to throw more serious subjects out there than what we had seen in the past. Obviously, in the past, there's the episode where Will's father comes back and then leaves, and Will Smith says, "Why didn't he ever love me, Uncle Phil?"
Yeah.
And they have that big moment at the end. I feel like they're going to handle more serious subjects and kind of modernize it with what we're seeing in the world around us.
Yeah.
Interesting idea. And
it's interesting, but they're probably going to screw it up, like everything else that they try to.
Well, that's like the Friends reunion. I'm not a Friends fan. I didn't like the show, but they're having. I think it's a 1 episode special on HBO Max or Go or whatever the fuck.
Really?
And it's being pushed back again. But all of the members of the cast have agreed to sign on and do it, which has been an unobtainable goal till this point.
But I mean, they're probably looking at like Roseanne and how big that started off when it rebooted. Like they're just thinking, this is a big cash grab we could go for right now. So, I mean, it's kind of genius, but it's one of those things that'll probably be 1 season. They'll grab their money and then they'll be gone.
And there again, though, we saw how Roseanne crashed and burned.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Well.
So
of course,
I mean,
that's what pisses me. Yeah. Never mind. It's another thing that pisses me off that you can't comedians can't be funny anymore, or they're gonna get. I mean, there's countless examples. Not only Roseanne, but I mean, a comedian's job is to make you laugh and to be edgy, and then you're gonna start canceling those people over that stuff, and then guess what? We're not gonna have comedians anymore. I mean,
I'll agree with you on that. I think that we need to kind of give comedians a little bit more of a bearing than we give politicians, but. I don't know. Roseanne's tweet did seem pretty shitty to me.
Yeah. Yeah, she was fucked up on that drug too, man.
And there again, listen, I understand she's a comedian. And listen, I'm all for forgiving. Like, if we could talk to Roseanne and ask her, hey, what frame of mind were you in? I just want to hear one of these people say, hey, I'm not really sorry, and I'm not like that in my real life because I have one black friend or my grandchild's black. I just want to hear one person say, you know what? At the time, I thought it was funny, and I realized that hurt people, and I'm sorry. That's what I want.
Well, she did. In all fairness, Roseanne actually did. She went on the Joe Rogan Experience, and they did like 4 hours talking about it. And she was jacked up on. I can't remember the name of that drug off the top of my head, but there was some drug that is out there, and it just makes people wacky too. So I mean, you can go listen to it. I don't remember. It's been a long time since that happened, but
that that's one of those things where. I agree with you. I think that, comedians shouldn't be held to the same standards as average people, and especially like politicians, because they're trying to be funny. And at times you tell a joke that doesn't hit. And we've all done that just as regular people. We've tried to tell a joke that either made someone cry, upset someone, we lost friends over it. And that happens because we try to be funny and it doesn't always hit the mark.
Right.
Landon, take a deep breath. Yeah. How are you doing today, Landon? Are you good? Do we need to talk about this?
Look, I've done nothing but pretty much. I took my daughter to school early this morning, and I came home and slept all day because I have to work all night. So when I get done with this, I'm going straight to work, and I won't be off till 7 o'clock in the morning. So that sucks, and I got to work all weekend. So that's kind of downer, but I was good. I was good.
So it's some outside shit that's upsetting you, not what's happening on the show.
Oh, no.
The show's
totally
just adding to it.
No, it was just totally the show. Yeah.
Oh,
that
it was
just,
the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
That call just irritates the fuck out of me. But again, it sounds like he's talking about something else, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt here. My real question is, do you believe in slavery like it's outlined in Exodus 21? That's it. If you say no to that, look, I'm sure we can come to an agreement on these sexual slavery things. I don't know. I don't even know much about that. So, it is what it is.
I've never seen you this heated, though.
Well, dude, it just comes back to, man, how many people that I know that have just been completely thrown out of their entire family and things over religious stuff. And it's so frustrating to see that, who could throw their kid out on the street just because they don't believe in this God, especially when a God who is going to punish you for not following a plan, but yet the plan is completely unclear and you can't. I mean, it's so ridiculous. So like, you're telling me that a God is going to punish you, right, for not understanding what he wants you to do, when there's no way that you can use logic to come to believe that any of that is real and that any of that even happened and things like that. Look, I'm even okay with believing that there could have been a Jesus, a person named Jesus. I'm okay with that. That doesn't mean anything. But there's just so much dogma that comes with religion and stuff. And I'm really hoping, it's a lot, the whole atheism movement and stuff is one of those things that I didn't really get into much until the last couple years. But there, everything that's good with quote unquote the good things that religions do, the atheists can do just the same. Here's another example. So there's this place called the City of Children. It's in Mexico, right? And it's just this like sanctuary of kids, I guess, who don't have parents and stuff like that. And they go there, and then there's like a bunch of religious people that come down there and feed them and play with them and do all this crap. Well, when the religious people come down there, they sit there and make them wait through 4 or 5 hours of talking about Jesus before they'll feed them. But when the atheists come down there, here's an open bar. Eat what you want, and then let's go play some games and have fun. I just don't see any benefit in the religious aspect at all. All of those things that you feel, all those things that make you feel good when you're singing or when you're helping some, you can do that all without religion. You don't need that dogma. And that's just my point, man. I mean,
Sebastian, he says that his mother was abandoned because of her mother's beliefs, and that we can touch on that later. I think that, like, they say there's certain topics that you're not supposed to talk about in these types of forums, that religion and politics tend to be those things. And listen, I don't want anyone to feel unincluded on the show, because we're normally a fun, upbeat kind of show. And for the first 20 or so minutes, we were talking about biddies and titties and all sorts of itties. I think that this is a difficult thing to talk about, especially when you're dealing with the amount of passion. Landon was someone who, and I hate to speak for you, in his own mind, was kind of brainwashed by this world. I mean, he went so far as to go to a religious college because he believed up until a certain point. Am I right in saying that, Landon?
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
You're good.
And you know, you have folks like myself and Landon who are non-believers in two different levels of being non-believers. Um, and you know, we're constantly being attacked for the way that we feel about these things. There's a constant attack from religious people. Well, you know, you're going to hell, and you're you know, Satan owns your soul, and this and that. And that's why these things are frustrating, because the reason that I think Landon was so standoffish there is that religious people don't give us the opportunity to give our piece. So in his mind, it going to be that discussion becoming a religious discussion, he wasn't going to give them their piece either.
Right.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. In some regards, look, it's a thing like, you know, they want you to come listen to all their bull crap. But you know how many times I've posted on my Facebook trying to get a preacher or some religious, you know, some higher up religious person to come on and talk about their beliefs, and they refuse. You know how many preachers I've reached out to say, come on, let's talk about your beliefs and let's try to understand why you believe them. And they will not talk to you at all. They will not talk to you at all. All they want to do is this sneaky little back behind bullshit that they do to, you know, to take away your rights or to do this. And it's bullshit, dude. Come on, let's have a conversation about it. And they don't want to, dude. I mean,
we've also both done paranormal shows for a long time.
Right.
We're both I would consider you to be an expert in the field of the paranormal. I would consider me to be a novice, if that. But that takes credibility away. So everything that we do takes credibility away from us. And that's why sometimes we're a little bit standoffish. Listen, I was told very recently that because I'm 20 years old, I shouldn't have a political opinion. Motherfucker, I vote. Blow me.
Right.
Like, yeah, why is your vote more important than my vote?
Right.
Because your presidential candidate's dick's bigger than my presidential candidate's dick, or your god's dick is bigger than my non-god's dick.
Right.
You know, these are the discussions that I'm just so fed up with having. And you know, why are we putting? Well, Landon does a paranormal show, so he's not allowed to talk about religion. Or, you know, Dillan's only 20, so he's not allowed to talk about politics.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd love to hear your guys' feedback, like I said, and I know that the number's on your screen. I really have to write it down so I can...
Yeah, I know he doesn't see the screen like you guys do with all the logos and stuff. Now, here's another thing, talking about, you know, me believing in the paranormal. I'm probably one of the few people in the paranormal. I don't want to say the only, because that's, you know, whatever, but... that will tell you there's no good reason to believe in the paranormal. There's absolutely no justification to believe in it at all. My problem is I've experienced things that make no sense at all either, and that's what I'm seeking out. I'm not here to tell you that ghosts are real and spirits are real. You hear me on somebody else's paranormal podcast, and I'll be like, there's no good justification for why you believe that. So, and that's, you know, I'm fair about it, dude. I feel like I'm fair about it. I will tell you that I've had things happen that I don't know what they are, and I'm seeking those out. I'm not saying that that is Jesus and his angels and all this bullshit that people come up with. I'm not. Yeah.
And my whole thing is being a researcher and an on-air person who isn't someone who's out in the field. I'll give you my opinions, I'll give you my thoughts, but I would hate to discredit any guests or anyone who we have on to share experiences, or my fellow co-hosts and their experiences. I'd like to have the discussion, though. And Landon, that's why you were such a great guest, because you could go with the punches. Listen, I ask skeptic questions. I ask questions of a skeptic because I am one.
People don't do that anymore. So
and that's why I would be doing a disservice to everyone who watches me, to everyone who knows what I'm about, and myself, if I didn't ask you, Landon, are you sure that the ghost that tried to pull down your pants and deep dick you wasn't, you know, just you were sleeping and you know, in a vegetative state? Or you passed out from alcohol poisoning and you know, took 35 melatonins. I have to ask these questions. It's not being an asshole. It's being someone who's crossing the fucking T's and dotting the I's.
Right. No, that's honestly why, you know, me myself, I'm particularly in this fringe category of paranormal, because paranormal people want yes men. They just want people to agree with them and go off with these crazy outlandish claims that they can't prove or, you know, even try to justify. And I'm the one that's sitting back more skeptical, like, okay, let's really think about this, you know? So, you know, that's why you don't see me on a ton of these other shows, because I am like that, and people don't want that.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, I've never been a guest. You're the only person I've ever been a guest on their paranormal programming.
Right.
Because people don't want to have on someone to talk with analytically about what's happening, because I'm going to say, well, listen, you know, at the end of the day, how many people have photographic evidence of Bigfoot? How many people have photographic or video evidence of actual aliens, not something flying in the fucking sky that you can't possibly make out? Okay, simple, none.
Right. There's definitely a level of proof that you have to have in order to even get me to think that some of this is real. But I will say, on the paranormal podcast type thing, Out of the Shadows podcast may or may not be coming back for at least a couple episodes.
How much time do we have left on here, Landon?
Dude, we got like 40 minutes.
Oh, okay, because I want to get into something real quick.
Sure.
We promised we wouldn't make this a religious episode, but you know, since we've started, and this being more of a serious episode, I think it makes sense for me to explain my background.
Yeah.
And maybe people might hate me less if I explain my background, and maybe people would understand why I'm the way that I am.
I don't know why people hate you to begin with, but
I do.
Every week I get something.
It's because I talk too much. That's what it is.
They really hated your airplane story. I got like 3
Yeah,
people
no.
who hated that one.
I guarantee you it's because I talk too much, and what these guys don't understand is this isn't the format of a show that I'm used to.
Right.
So really quickly, and I will make it quick. When I was 17, I was asked to join a paranormal group as a host of a podcast, co-host, Paranormal Analytical. I stayed with that show for about a year, left, came back, left again. I'm currently going back on August 22nd to help them out with some things. The way that my shows have been our shows where it's very segmented. With this open forum, I have to get used to it. I have to get used to shutting my mouth, and I apologize if I rub you folks the wrong way. I promise you that I do know what I'm doing, though. I really do.
You don't need to apologize to anybody. This is your fucking show, and if they don't like it, they can go piss off to some other jackass who's doing a podcast.
And you're right, but to me, I understand why people are upset, because people are used to seeing you, and now they're seeing me, and they're like, who the fuck is this guy trying to take, Landon's? Right. It's happened so many times. Yeah. Listen, it's happened on shows in the past.
It's the same. It's the same thing, dude. If I were to go onto your guys' show, and I were to just jump on there as a new co-host or whatever, people would probably hate me on that show for my. It's one of those things. These people who watch my show and who have followed me for years, they know a lot about me, and they know kind of what I'm going for, and it's one of those things. You find people that you like. There's people who like listening to the Joe Rogan show, and there's people who don't. It's the same thing. And this is just, when you add a new person, it just changes the whole dynamic of the show. So
and if anybody has issues with the way that I do a show, I am so open to discussion. Like, you can come on the air and tell me you fucking hate me. I just want to learn how I can be better for you guys. Truthfully, at the end of the day, that's what I want. But I've been doing a show since I was 17. So, I mean, how many of you guys have done a show more than a day? I've done one for 4 years in some capacity.
Right. Dillan's really good at what he does.
And listen, I'm not saying that makes me better than you, but what I'm saying is this is a different format than what I'm used to, and I'm trying my best, and I know I'll get better. I'm just asking you guys to bear with me. And if you have suggestions, by all means, let's hash it out.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm willing to. Here's the thing. This is what people don't really understand about this particular show. Like, if you go and listen to my other show, Out of the Shadows podcast, which potentially is coming back for at least a few episodes. I did get a hold of some people that I really wanted to talk to on that show in a more in-depth version. It's a completely different show from this. This literally was meant to be a joke almost. I mean, our show is literally a joke. People don't realize that. None of this is legit. Like, we just come on here to kind of talk shit and say our opinion, and that's it. And it's not, you're not going to see us we don't have experts on here.
Yeah, there wasn't meant to be a format, but I guess
there's no format. We literally got together and we said, you know what? in both of our shows that we do, we kind of have a format we have to do. We have certain rules we have to abide by. It'd be kind of cool if we could talk about these topics with absolutely no rules. And that's what we did. That's why we're not on a set schedule. That's why we're not on a set in time. That's not why we're on an out time. We literally message each other and say, "Hey, you want to go on?" And if we both agree, then we go on.
Spur of the moment, yeah. I mean,
there's no
we have
planning.
nothing planned.
No planning.
You guys hear us bring up these subjects. These are just off the top of our head, and we're trying to segue properly. That's all that's happening with this show.
Right.
I have a question though with the outer. What's the show called?
Out of the Shadows.
Out of the Shadows. Thank you. So you do that solo.
Yes. Yeah. All of my shows have been solo every time I've ever done it. This is the only one I've ever had.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it is way harder to do in a show by yourself.
Oh, I've done solo.
Not only are you doing it by yourself, but what people don't understand is I don't have an engineer who's running this whole thing.
Yeah.
Who's making sure all these I wish. I mean, dude, there's so much shit that has to happen behind the scenes to make this go on the air so you can see it.
Yeah.
I'm doing that on top of listening to the guest and asking questions.
Yeah.
And with that show in particular, I don't prep. I don't prep questions because I want to approach these subjects as someone who's maybe on the outside, because a lot of the things that I would talk about on there, I really have no clue about, and I'm bringing these people on so I can understand it. So I want to have that perspective of the listener who doesn't know what they're talking about either. And so there's no prepped questions. Everything's impromptu when I do that show, just like I do this one. Maybe that's why we're good at this one.
Yeah.
But it's a more in depth where I can ask. We're specific on one topic and we can stay with that topic throughout the night.
And that's the thing. Like me doing solo shows. That's why when we started this show, I'll open the curtain up a little bit for everybody. When we started this, I said I don't want to do any of the fucking board work. I don't want to do any of that because I fucking hate it. I did it for a year myself. You know, I ran a show for a year myself before it got to be too much, you know, with every other fucking activity that I did. And like people don't realize, and I think that's another reason that I'm hated, because people think, oh, this is like fucking simple. I challenge you to try to entertain someone for an hour by yourself. Yeah,
it's very difficult. Very difficult. And the thing with my other show back when I was doing it, I didn't have a call-in number. So like, you know, that's kind of one of those things, like you can just, you know, if you get kind of stuck or you just kind of want to segue to something else, you can just throw a caller in and then go to the next thing. With that, when you're doing it live by yourself, there's none of that. It's kind of crazy. It's fun though, dude. There was a lot of listeners on my show when I did it, and a lot of people wanted to come back. And it's one of those things, like, you know, having a paranormal show, like when you start talking about those things over and over and over, it gets very frustrating, and that's
especially if you're a non-believer, though.
Right.
You know, if I'm a truther, you know, it gets repetitive because I'm just constantly in defensive mode. Yeah, that's the thing. And it's so hard to just like kind of bite your tongue, and when you ask these people to justify their beliefs, they can't do it. And Landon, could I just say real quick?
Yeah.
I know I'm breaking the rule of talking. You have seen me bite my tongue on more than one episode of my show. Right. You have seen some Herculean strength come from this fat boy, because we've had some fucking whoppers on that we will talk about in the future.
Yeah. Actually, I want to bring that one person on this show.
Go ahead. Oh, do you really?
I would love it, dude. I would love it. Or maybe I'll just take clips from it and we can just kind of talk about.
I don't know if I could get the go ahead to do that. I don't know.
Well, you know, maybe if I just do it without asking.
Yeah, without consent. Listen, I'll say this. You know, if I'm ever needed, I'm there.
Right.
You know, I'm always there. But yeah, and you know, I know exactly what show you're talking about. Yeah. Do you want to get into it at all, or just completely leave it at this?
Yeah. No. I mean, let me check the time. Yeah, no, I'm good for at least another 40 minutes.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, okay. So we're going to be telling two perspectives here. I'm going to be telling you the host perspectives. Landon's going to tell you the viewer's perspective.
And I have the audio from it. The clip that I sent you when I clipped it. of
Oh, go
that.
ahead.
Well, you have to explain it, and then
Yeah.
I'll find it.
So, we had this lady on. We invited her onto our show, who had been a guest on the Dr. Oz show. She has had like 5 near-death experiences, and she had a ton of stories. Me being a skeptic, me not wanting to do spiritual episodes, before I even did the show, I said, "Hey, fellas, I don't think it's a good idea that I do this show. I don't do well with spiritual shows." I was told, "Hey, you're going to do fine." I'd also like to point out the only reason I'm talking about this isn't to shit on this lady at all,
Right.
because, like I said, it's a learnable experience. It's just sometimes you deal with things and you have to just deal with them.
Right.
And this lady had said some things that I personally don't agree with. Meanwhile, the comment section is blowing up. "Dillan, how do you feel about this?" "Oh, I bet you Dillan has some strong opinions about this." And Landon's sending me messages trying to make me laugh.
And yet, mind you, dude, the only thing you said in this entire show was like, at the very beginning, like, "Hey,
no, no, I know exactly what I said. I spoke twice throughout the entire show. It was 1 hour. I said thank you for coming on at the beginning, and I was the only person who thought about letting her plug her book.
Right.
Even though I didn't agree with her at all, I let her plug her things.
And that was it.
And of course, we had an argument as the staff over there on what we thought she was talking about, and it was an argument.
Yeah.
I mean, we were pretty split. It was 2 and 2 on what people thought. The audience thought different things, but what her statement was, at some point when she had died or had this death experience,
NDE, near death.
yeah,
experience.
and thank you. But see, that's what I don't understand about it. If you're seeing God, you're dead. That's not near death. You're fucking dead. So if you come back from dead, it's not a near death experience. It's a death experience. You just came back from it.
Yeah, I never really thought of it like that. But
That
yeah.
fucking that's the fucking. Oh, okay. Now I have to breathe. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone.
Well, at some point you're nearing death during that, and then you
But
hit
if you're
death,
okay,
but then you come back.
but there
from
again,
death.
with the religious people, okay, if the second you see God, you're dead, you're fucking free, and you come back, that's not near death, that's death.
Well, I don't
So-
think that you see God at all, but I think that's just an imagination.
exactly.
Of your brain,
This
but-
lady had claimed. I'm sorry, because I don't want to be angry. We have enough of that. The lady had come on and she had said she had saw God, and God took her hand and said, "What would you do if it was just me and you?"
Yeah, I actually have the clip. I don't know what
Please.
context that this starts.
Oh, I
off
know what the
on,
context is.
because this has been a minute, but you can hear this lady here.
Yeah.
Oh, I have it on silent, of course.
I was gonna say.
I was prepared for the show. Hey, maybe I shouldn't have my phone on loud. It looks like it's loading, but you can talk for a second while I get this pulled up.
So basically, this woman had come on and she said, God asked her, "What would you do if it was just me and you?" And then again, he repeated, "What would you do if it was just me and you? No kids, no husband, nothing to worry about."
Yeah.
And then he opened a door to the universe and she flashed back to life. And during the show, during this segment specifically, all I have is people asking me, "Dillan, what do you think about this? Dillan, how do you feel about this?" And I'm sitting there in silence because at the end of the day, as a broadcaster, as a host, even though I don't agree with this lady and I don't understand her story, I don't want to disrespect this woman. And I'm not trying to disrespect this woman now.
Right.
But at the end of the day, this is something that maybe you guys didn't realize, that like we don't always agree with the people that we have on. Landon, do you have that video, or are you still?
He tells me that he loves me and don't be scared. He said, "No, don't you be scared. I love you and I'm going to be with you." And that was my first clue that I was coming back, but it went over my head. And then he walked me to this wooded glen, and there was God. There was a log there, and I sat down on the log, and God was sitting there. And Jesus walked away. So I started having a conversation with God. And God asked me, what he said was, "What would you do if it was just me and you?"
What? What would you do if it's just me and you?
And I didn't understand what he meant. So he said it again. "What would you do if it was just me and you?"
Come on, little girl, tell me, what would you do if it was just me and you?
And he said, no husband, no children, no friends, nobody, just me and
Just me and you. No husband. I want to make sure you don't have a husband. and you don't have no kids because that's going to take up too much time. Just me and you.
I still didn't know what to say to him, so he said, come with me. And we get up, and we walk further into this beautiful wooded area, and there's a clearing, and he just kind of goes like this and over the sky, and the sky opens up, and I can see the vastness of the universe with nothing in it. It was just planets.
How cute.
So yeah, that's the. I have the video. I'm not putting it up on the screen because it has her name on there, and we're not blasting her out like that. But
but here's the thing, she was a very nice lady, and I'll give her credit real quick for two things. Number one, our comments were fucking ruthless. Landon was a part of this.
yeah,
Landon was a dick.
I was pissed because literally the whole time this shit's going on, nobody on the panel is questioning any of it.
But
They're just like,
do you understand why I didn't though?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll explain.
No, I understand why you didn't.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand why nobody did.
Oh, because they agree with her. We'll get into that when I start a little bit later when I talk about the argument that happened. But basically what had happened was this lady had went back and answered everybody's comments, even the fucking cruel ones.
Yeah. Hey, I do got to give her credit there.
The bitch had balls. That's a big part of the reason I didn't ask anything. I'm thinking I'm going to piss this lady off. Like, I don't do spiritual shit. People get touchy. You guys saw Landon's not a Jesus believer. He's the opposite, but he almost fucking murdered a guy on air over it. You know?
I did. Just to be fair, Sebastian, I love you, dude, and it's probably just a misunderstanding. So.
Yeah. And I don't want, I don't want to upset somebody who I don't know. I don't want this lady to be upset or feel uncomfortable, because then the whole interview is uncomfortable.
Right. And you got to understand your audience too.
Yeah.
Because your audience there is a lot more believing than most people.
And so we go off the air, and we say goodbye to this lady, and we always do about a 5-minute segment after the show goes off the air where we just talk.
Right. And
I just said, and these guys start telling me, you were very unprofessional there. You were laughing and you tried to cover it up. And I had my mic muted. And what was happening was I was putting my phone in front of my face like this, covering the fact that I am fucking dying.
You were doing this.
It was fucking hysterical. And Landon's messaging me. I have other people messaging me, just funny shit. And I didn't take the interview as seriously as I should have. And that's my bad.
Right.
Okay. But I did let her plug her things, and like I said, I give her all the credit in the world for answering those comments.
Yeah.
But I just said, y'all don't think that she just said that Jesus or God tried to fuck her?
That's what it sounded like.
And the people who I do the show with, 2 of them said that's not what she was saying at all. She was saying that God's with all of us. And I was thinking in my head, how the fuck do you get that out of that?
Yeah, where does that come out of? Hey, I'm God, and I want to make sure that your kids and your husband aren't around right now.
What would you do if it was just me and you, big boy?
If you're God, you would already know they're not there.
Yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine. Then we got into the whole thing of, well, I'm unprofessional, which led to an argument because I said, listen, I bet you if we ask audience members and random ass people and play this clip, they're going to say that God tried to fuck this lady.
Right.
And I did just that. Over the next several weeks, I was asking everybody who I fucking could. And I said, hey, what's this sound like to you? Seems to me like this lady's trying to suck on God's holy grail. You're goddamn right, because that's what the fucking context was, all right? Now, sorry if I don't read into shit too deeply when it comes to the spiritual, something I am not comfortable with. But that was probably my worst disaster of a show. Landon, if you want to tell some key points as a viewer, I mean, you were watching this fucking train wreck.
I mean, oh, hold on. So just for context for people, because now I'm getting other messages. For some reason, my chat's not all coming through to one. I'm still trying to figure out why. So, out there to Josh, I see your comment, and I am calling you out. I'm saying hey to Josh, so don't get pissed. There you go. But as somebody who was watching, dude, honestly, if it wasn't for me trying to just make you laugh the whole time, I would have hung up. I mean, I would have turned it off almost instantly. Like, everything this woman was saying was completely batshit crazy, and nobody on the panel was questioning any of it. They're just like, oh yeah,
and
you
not
just
only
met
that,
God.
the part of it that really got to me is the part of it where she wasn't dying or in a near-death experience or whatever, when Jesus went to her church and asked her where he could sit down, and 4 other people saw him too. What the fuck?
Yeah. He came into church.
That wasn't near death. She said that she was very much alive at that point.
And other people saw him.
3 other women can back up the story. And I said after the show, get the 3 other women on.
Right.
No one did.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the type of thing you will never see from my show. I'm never going to just sit back and take that and not question any of it. I mean, it's one of those things like, I don't see what the problem is with questioning it, because if she has a good reason to believe it, she's just going to say it. It's not like you're saying, oh, I don't believe you or you're full of crap. You're just saying, this didn't really jive with me. Explain it more, you know?
I didn't want to come across as an asshole. And I'll admit, I definitely should have asked questions, especially...
No, you should have never been on the show.
No, because I said I didn't want to be on the show
you went into the show knowing that you didn't want to talk about it. That's one thing I've learned over the many shows that I've done is if I'm not interested in the topic or I don't like the person I'm talking to, I'm not going to do the show because it's not going to be fun for me. If it's not fun for me, it's not fun for anybody else. Not that I really care if anybody listens to this. We have quite a few viewers across all the platforms right now. We're sitting at about, I think our max for the entire time we've done this show, we're sitting at 47 people live across every platform. So I don't know how that happened, but thanks to you guys. So we expected to only have 2 or 3 people. And there we go. It is what it is.
If you hate me, call in and tell me why.
Well, they won't, because there's no good reason to hate you. I mean, you know what I mean?
Like I said, I think it was the talking thing.
It was whatever. I mean, that's the point. Is like there's no rules here. I don't care.
You try not to have dead air too. I'm trying. I just hope everyone realizes that I'm trying. But like I said, I'm always willing to learn, and if there's something I can do to help make myself better for you guys, I'll do it in an instant. But I'd like to have the discussion, so please feel free to call in. Landon, are we going to talk about more experiences we've had in our past shows?
We can if you want to.
What's our time?
About 25 minutes.
Okay. I'll tell one.
Okay.
Because you probably have a similar experience to this. Okay. Have you ever booked a guest or had a guest booked who, before they come on the air, they've told all their stories and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to be able to dive in deep. And then they come on your show and they just say, oh, I would talk about it, but you'll have to buy my book. And then completely talk about something different for the entire 3 hours.
Oh my God. Well, I've never had somebody on my show like that because I would hang up on them. It's not the point of me having the fucking conversation with you. But I have listened. I'm a huge fan of listening to Coast AM. And I don't know why, because half the people on there, I'm just like, okay, you're full of shit. But I just love hearing these crazy things. But I've heard so many people come on there. Well, I don't want to give it out because then they won't buy my book. I'm like, are you serious? If it's interesting, I'll buy the book so that I can figure out all the details you didn't explain. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you right now, if that happens even in the future, I'll hang up on I'll be like, if you really don't want to come on and have a conversation about what we, arranged, then get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't need you.
And that's the thing is the issue that I had with this guy, because I'll tell this story. Once again, no names. I've had 3 or 4 different experiences on the show that were just the shits. You people think I'm bad. Holy shit. Wait until you mix me with horrible guests. We invited a guy on the show who had a whole book about fighting demons. He was a demonologist.
Right. And
I do research. I do prep a little bit. And so I see that he did a show with a lady, a 4-hour program where he told her everything. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, walk in the park. Mm-hmm. We're going to be able to help this guy promote his book, probably sell some books. We're going to have fun. We get on the show. I ask him a question. One of the stories that he talked about in detail was a woman had a shadow man tormenting her and her family. He described it to be not a shadow, though. He described it to be more like Slender Man, if y'all are familiar.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it, and he said, well, I helped this family out, but if you want to know about that, you'll just have to buy my book. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, he's not comfortable telling that story. Okay, it's probably the main story in the book, something less.
Right.
When you were younger and you were getting into demonology, I understand something happened with you and your brother at a cemetery. Oh boy, I'd love to talk about it, but you'll just have to read my book. What do you want to talk about, sir? Oh, well, I love to talk about spirituality and the power of faith.
Please, somebody call him with the power of faith and explain to me why faith is a good pathway to truth in any circumstance.
Wait.
Please do that. I want to know why anybody would use faith as a reliable pathway to truth in any situation. Please call in right now, 706-237-8230. We're going to get heated again. Bring it on, Dylan. Go.
And in the middle of the show, this guy's screaming at his wife. He talks in this kind of thick Southern accent like this, but when he starts yelling at his wife, it's, God damn it, Betsy, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here, you goddamn whore. The accent was gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a bit, but the dude lost his shit on fucking air. I'm at this point, the show is no longer mine, because they're talking about shit I don't fucking care about.
Is this still on like YouTube or something?
It's probably up.
Oh my god!
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I gotta find this.
Have I ever told you the story of the first show I ever did?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh boy, this is a good one. This one's a doozy. So the first show I ever did, like I said, I was like 17 years old, and Eddie had brought me on because he liked my voice, he liked the way that I am, and he thought I would be a good co-host, someone to learn. We have a guy who specializes in past life regression. Past life regression is like therapy where they hypnotize you and take you into your past life. It's supposed to cure you of ailments like smoking and fears. So like if you have a fear of smoking, or if you smoke a lot, they'll take you into your past life. You're cured. If you have a fear of sirens, they'll take you into your past life. Oh, in your past life, you died in a fiery accident. That's why you're afraid of sirens. Right. I asked this guy, hey, have you ever been put under yourself? And he says, why, yes, I have. And I said, can you tell us a little bit about that? He goes, well, I remember looking at the scorching desert, looking down at my shredded body. And I remember most of all, the color gold looking so good on my black skin. This is a 60-year-old white guy telling us how good the color gold looks on black skin. And I'm like, not taking this shit seriously. He told us about, this is a medical professional. This is a doctor.
A doctor's telling you this?
Yes, this is a medical professional. This is the guy who he puts you into the hypnosis. So he goes, another story that he told, he said, not a story, but something he said is anytime someone's missing time, I know what it is. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, he's going to give us a great... It's aliens! Oh, my fuck. He then goes into a story about how two ladies came into him. They were in a car together. One of them looked in the rearview mirror. There's an alien sitting in the back seat, and they don't remember what happened after that.
So, hold on. So this guy is a legit doctor.
Yes.
But he does... because past life regression is not a practice of a healthcare practice by any means.
Yes, 100%.
It is?
This man is no. This man's like a psychiatrist, therapist. He's the person who does the hypnosis, which takes you into past life.
Which is, this is like pseudoscience. Like,
yes.
Okay. So he's not like, this is not like an accepted thing from like healthcare boards or something.
No, but I believe he does have his paper.
So
I
has
believe
a legit
he is
PhD.
I believe he is. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Listen, it's been a long time since I've done the show. I'd have to look back. Yeah. I'm pretty positive that he was
now for clarification, like just so people understand, like this doctor puts these people into these hypnosis states, and then they tell what happened to them, right? It's not he's saying this happened to you, blah, blah, blah.
See, and that was another question. In my mind, I'm thinking if you have them passed out, like a magician who does hypnosis says bark like a dog and they start doing it.
Right.
So is this guy who does hypnosis, is he maybe feeding to them what they're supposed to be seeing? And then when they wake up, oh doctor, I turned around and there was an alien fucking me in the asshole with a probe about yay fucking wide.
Now, how far, this is one of the questions I've had here recently, and I've really been wanting to explore this more. How far of a crazy ass story can you put out there and people still believe it? Like,
People bought it.
where's the ceiling that if you cross this, it's unbelievable? I mean, because at this point, dude, I've heard some ridiculous things.
I think it depends on who you are. I think like with you, it's something like religious. With me, it's like religion's okay, but if you start telling me God's fucking you, that's where I'm like, all right, cunt, get the fuck out. You know, I think everybody's different. Whereas some people who aren't believers in aliens or ghosts, they're going to say, "Oh, you saw a ghost," bullshit.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's people that instantly say that. I have people in my family that think I'm crazy because I even look into it. And look, I don't tell people that any of this is real. It's just an exploration for me. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have a weird obsession with like abandoned and old places and historical locations. For me and for you, it's more about the history and diving into that type of stuff. That's the stuff that I really love doing. I like going into these city halls and opening up these books that are from the 1800s with handwritten, you know, things that who owns this house and who owns that property. I love doing that type of stuff.
To me, it's educational, and I just want to learn more about anything. Right. Yeah.
And if there is something, if there is some sort of ghost or something there, hey, that's cherry on top. But, you know, at the end of the day, when you can hand a property owner something that of history that they've never, you know, they've never seen before, that's the kicker for me.
Yeah, and we've both done that, you know, and helped people fulfill their story a little bit more. You know, do we have time for one last short story?
Sure, go for it.
So this is the last one that I'll tell. This is the only issue that I ever had with a person on the show.
Yeah.
There was this group that we were working with for about 3 or 4 straight shows that had a supposedly possessed doll that just so happened to be a clown doll.
Oh.
Named Bobo.
Bobo the clown.
Bobo the fucking clown. Now, here's the thing. I don't buy all this shit, but when I tell you weird shit was happening, and maybe I was putting it in my own head, like I'm telling you right now, this fucking doll's expression would change. And like his...
Wait, what? You saw this expression change on this doll?
Yes.
Okay.
I swear to fucking Christ. And you can see on air where I'm just looking at this doll and other people notice, like, I'm not like that. I'm not like the rest of these people. Right. Where you can see me watching this fucking doll and my face changes to a horrified expression. Now, a lot of that probably was that I was psyching myself up because this was one of the first big tickets that I had. And a lot of it was probably that these guys were hyping up, oh, we think this doll has an issue with Dillan, and that these guys knew that clowns aren't exactly my fucking thing. I'm not afraid of clowns, but like, I don't like dolls. Right. Dolls is the problem. Mm-hmm. It's not the clown doll. It's the fact it's a fucking doll.
Right.
And we did like 4 straight shows with these people. They're stealing internet from the YMCA. We're on an investigation with them up fucking 18 hours. Nothing happened. Finally, we do a show. They bring on Bobo 2 shows in a row. They were just oversaturating the market because we were running out of shit to talk about. And the doll, quite frankly, freaked me the fuck out. But man, though that's an episode, Landon, if you went back and watched, you would see if there was ever a time I could say I believe in the paranormal, it was that fucking show.
So were you able to go back and watch the video and you can see it happen? Or is this just something that happened in your mind while you're looking at it?
I've never went back and watched it. I assume it happened in my mind.
Okay.
But what I will tell you is that other people had noticed that it just seemed there was a much more eerie feeling overall than regular. Listen, I'm sure it was in my mind because I was 18 years old. People are psyching me up, and this was my first real haunted artifact, and I'm sure that I was psyching myself up, and you can hear it in the show. They're psyching me up too, but I don't know, man. It was fucking weird. It was the weirdest experience I've had to date.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's like, I mean, I've only had one really crazy experience like that where it just where I just can't explain. You know, like every other paranormal type experience, I guess you could. There's a possibility that it could be something else. This one time where I actually where we dug up a body on accident with me and Jerry, and I pulled these bones out of this mound of dirt or whatnot, and just instantly started. My nose was just pouring blood, and I was vomiting everywhere. I mean, it wasn't because I was disgusted. Like it felt like something was trying to kill me when I did that. So, you know, that's the only one where I'm like, dude, I have no idea what that could have been. That was legit, dude. I really thought I was gonna die on that. And that's one of those. We'll get into that story later, because that's
we'll get into these
one.
things deeper. Yeah.
We just don't have the time today. But
did we lose all our viewers while I was talking?
No.
Oh wow! Thank you, everyone.
I mean, we lost a few, but that's just because we were announcing that we're coming to an end. So, anything else before I start closing this out, Dylan? You got anything else?
Listen, if you haven't listened to Wet Ass Pussy, go do it. It'll change your life.
That's that Cardi B one?
Yeah, it's Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion.
Well, I'll listen on my way to work.
We can't play it. We'll get copyrighted. But listen to it on your own. It's life-changing.
Yeah, I actually got copyrighted last week. So for those of you on YouTube, I know Jerry's out there on YouTube right now. If you look for last week's episode, it's not there because we got a copyright strike, which is surprising because normally it's Facebook that cuts me. But YouTube got me that time. So,
do you need to do an ad read again, or how's the?
No, I totally do. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for everybody listening. Remember, check the links above. You can download Webull, which is a stock trading platform. It's really, really cool. If you guys have heard of like Robinhood and stuff, it's kind of like it's very similar to that. The only advantage of going to Webull versus Robinhood is that you can trade pre-market and aftermarket hours, which you cannot do on Robinhood. And if you've looked up, just Google Robinhood sucks and you'll see plenty of videos of where people lose a ton of money using Robinhood. So if you are using Robinhood, switch over to Webull, use the link above, and you will get 2 free stocks. You'll get 1 just for signing up. So for those of you people right there, if you do not even have an interest in trading stocks, if you sign up, you're guaranteed a minimum of $12 that you can then cash out and put it in your bank for no reason. You deposit $100, you'll get that second stock, and that's the one that's worth a lot of money. Use the link above, Webull, and also Fiverr. Fiverr is also in the description above or below, depending on the platform you're using, where you can hire a freelance artist. Let's say you need a logo for your new brand. You can go on there and for as little as $5, get you a logo for your favorite energy drink, your favorite hot sauce, whatever it may be. You need a resume. You need animations done. CGI, there's literally everything. You need a lawyer to look over some paperwork, you can do it for as little as $5 on Fiverr. Use the link above and help out the show. You know, there's no disadvantage to you using the links up above. You're not getting charged more or anything like that. We just get a little bit of kickback that helps pay for this show, because all this stuff that you guys see here and things you don't see behind, they do cost a lot of money. So we really appreciate you guys checking those out. Dylan, hopefully, I guess Monday or Tuesday we'll be back live again. Thanks to everybody who called in. It was great to see that the call-in system worked so well, because we haven't had many callers, and for some reason, dude, I really think these afternoon shows are the way to go.
I agree, man. People are calling, people are being immersed, and we love that. Thank you guys so much. And as I said, I'm going to continue to try to get better for you guys.
Right. Love you guys, and we will see y'all on the next episode. Here we go. See you, Dylan.
Yep.